I want to talk about self-awareness. I believe there are 3 points in the immediate that matter: the past, the future, and the moment. The moment in this case is any time period, mental state, or span of consciousness that start at a point or event and end in another. A moment can exist within another moment and many other moments. I can enjoy a wonderful date that is a moment. That moment could be within the torturous or fulfilling period of living single, and those two moments could be within the period of you trying to struggle through college and navigate your occupation and your future in that regard. The past and future are just that. The former, the past, being the moments that are past as such, only points of reference and things to look back on, things that you're no longer navigating so much as looking back on. The latter, the future, are those moments you can only anticipate, theorize about, and prepare for as they're not here yet. Moments require the most immediate levels of self-awareness, as they are the things that matter in the immediate and the present. Should I buy that? Should I punch that person right now? Should I floor it to try to make that light? Let's paint the moment here metaphorically as where we stand on a bridge. On the bridge, we have nothing but the moment. If it's cold, hot, or windy, if you are hungry, tired, or sore, regardless, this moment is what it is. Now, where do you go? That depends on the moment and potentially some reflection on the past and the future. Should you move? If so, to where? What will happen when you get there? How long will it take to get there? Do you have enough resources to get there? The moment is always the most secure. Yeah, it may be cold and you may be hungry, but what if going all the way over there is colder and then you find out that there's no food? Now you're worse off than you were before. What if there is something bad over there? What if you get robbed or beat up on your way there and you don't even make it to where you thought you were going? That is the appeal of the moment. Subjectively and with no point of reference, but it is the appeal nonetheless. Now, looking back, that can be hard. You can see the lack of progress, the failures. You can see the lack of resources and people caring about you, around you. It's like looking into a mirror because it is done and you can't deny it, even if you try to. It's looking right back at you if you're looking back objectively. But in looking back, you can see progress. You can see how far you've actually come and the work it took to even make it to the current bridge you're at. You can see all the other bridges you came to and be assured that even if you barely made it, and in hindsight, you look back and could have done it more gracefully or efficiently, you still made it. And you can find comfort and solace in that by looking back. Now, looking forward, you can look forward and realize that no matter what, you can only see so far and so much. You can only plan for so much, and the rest is all literally an exercise in hypotheticals. It's all preparing and planning for something that may not even ever manifest, but you want to be prepared for it if it does. And that can be stressful, not only trying to plan for those unknowns, but more so in finding the balance between planning for what you can, preparing for what hypotheticals you can, and not overleaning in either one of those directions, lest you get caught staring at one and get blindsided by the other. If you focus on the moment without balance, you indulge yourself or find yourself stagnating. Again, you may be comfortable in the realm of what you know, what is routine, and what is safe. But eventually you find that you stayed in that state, and while you did, the entire world moved around you, be it for better or worse, collectively and individually. If you focus on the future without balance, you just blindly plod ahead. Most people do not know that without aim or some visual device or some kind of practice, humans can hardly walk in a straight line over a long period of time or a long length without some kind of using a frame of reference, a map, or a device. You may think you're walking ahead, forward, and making progress. Instead, you'll find you'll be walking in a big circle over and over. If you focus on the past, you are looking backwards. There's a lot there, lessons and loved ones, memories and mistakes. But in looking back, you may not see the lion in wait in front of you or the cliff looming ahead. Or you may find in staring back so long, you're actually lost in the moment and again stagnating with little to no progress, especially damaging because you think you are making progress at that same time. So when you're on the bridge, you need to consider all three. And the degree to consider them varies, and the degree to which it varies can often just be so vast. If you are on the bridge, it's your bridge. If you are hungry and hot and have been alone for a while, what do you do? Do you wait there on the bridge? Wait for more favorable weather perhaps and then leave, so only wait for a little bit? Or do you leave at all? Do you go backwards the way you came from? Or do you go forward into what you can't see and can only hypothetically plan for? What if ahead of you is nothing, just as it's been so far? If that's the case, the best solution would actually be to backtrack to at least where you know something was that you could use. Or perhaps, because you have the self-awareness to look back and think, you can say for certain that behind you is nothing. There's nothing there to salvage, and the literal only way to go ahead is forward, regardless of the fear or apprehension and uncertainty of what lies ahead to where you can't see. But then, how long do you go ahead? How fast do you go ahead? Do you go only straight in one direction? Do you look for a signal, or do you have a goal or objective at some point to make you switch plans or tactics? Or again, you have the option to simply wait on that bridge and see if someone comes along and can offer help, and if things just, the weather and climate become more your taste around you. This is the bridge, and the bridge has many manifestations. Many paths lead to the bridge, and many lead away from it. Sometimes it's a single line. Sometimes it appears to be, let's say, four paths only to merge ahead all at a singular point. Does that make the path that you chose any less important as the destination, since the destination was the same regardless of the path? Or does the path that you chose and how you navigated it matter? Bridges can be tricky. And if the circumstances and terrain, the climate and weather and world around you is set up nicely enough, the decisions you make at the bridges may not matter, as you may land well enough regardless. I find that's rarely the case, and that navigating these are some of the most important moments of one's life. Often, the ways are unclear, and it takes focus and self-awareness to navigate where to go. Or maybe you'll find yourself at some other moment in life where you sit there and wonder to yourself, why did I do that? How did I get here? What stopped me from going there? What if I'd have said that to that person? I think at that time it will stun you how many moments and bridges brought you to the current moment and current bridge that you're at, and how many more moments and bridges lie in front of you. Or maybe it's just me.